Imagine turning a basic shoe stand into a global fashion trend that even royalty wears in just 20 years. Sounds impossible, right? Hang on to your stilettos because we're about to embark on an astonishing journey with Charles and Keith Wong, two Singaporean brothers who did just that. This is the story of how two average individuals with great ideas transformed the fashion industry. We'll explore their creative strategies, the enormous challenges they encountered, and how they evolved from selling flip-flops on the street to setting global trends in a world dominated by luxury brands and fast fashion giants. Charles and Keith carved out their own niche, proving that with a dash of ingenuity and a whole lot of grit, even the most competitive marketplaces can be turned on their heads. By the end of this film, you'll be inspired and ready to climb your own mountains. You'll learn how Charles and Keith navigated the shark-infested waters of the fashion industry, outwitted the big fish, and transformed their small local shop into a global powerhouse. You'll also gain insights that'll help you make your impact, regardless of where you start. So, buckle up, fashion fans and ambitious entrepreneurs. This is one fashionable ride you won't want to miss. Let's set the scene. The fashion industry is a $1.5 trillion global juggernaut, known for its fierce competition and rapid change. Luxury labels like Gucci and Louis Vuitton share the runway, alongside fast fashion giants like Zara and H&M. In this high-stakes fashion show, newbies often get lost in the crowd, let alone make it to the stage. Hold on to your fancy hats because in the mid-1990s, two teenage brothers from Singapore were about to prove that with the right vision and a great plan, even a small-time player could shake up the status quo. Their journey began at a modest street stall in Singapore, far from the opulent fashion capitals of Paris, Milan, and New York. Talk about starting at the bottom of the fashion food chain. Picture this. It's June 15th, 1996 in Singapore. The summer air is heavy with the noise of street vendors and the aroma of sizzling street food. In the midst of this colorful mayhem, Charles and Keith, two young dreamers just out of high school, opened their first shoe store in the heart of the city. Their store was a tiny place, a little bigger than a walk-in closet, with a table so small it might serve as a TV dinner tray. It was stocked with low-cost footwear, primarily flip-flops and basic sandals. The brothers lacked sophisticated fashion degrees and MBAs, but they had something far more valuable: a keen eye for style, a work ethic that would make a workhorse appear lazy, and a daring mission of making beautiful shoes affordable to everyone. Passers-by had no idea that this unassuming booth would serve as the starting point for a global fashion empire. Who would have predicted that these basic flip-flops would be the first step in a fashion revolution that would eventually lead to Kate Middleton, Duchess of Cambridge, carrying their bags? As we journey deeper into their narrative, you'll see how Charles and Keith leveraged their poor beginnings to fuel their creativity and push the boundaries of what's possible in the fashion industry. It's as if they gave the rags to riches story a major fashion makeover. But the journey to the royal wardrobe was far from a red carpet stroll. The Wong brothers faced challenges that would make even the most seasoned entrepreneurs break out in a cold sweat. They started with a budget tighter than last season's skinny jeans, borrowing only 5,000 Singapore dollars from their mother. Every penny was valuable. They probably counted coins more often than inventory. Charles and Keith were the ultimate underdogs in this high-stakes competition. They were up against fashion industry giants with bigger budgets than their entire inventory. Without flashy storefronts or big-budget ads, they relied on charm and hustle. Their strategy: make friends and let word of mouth work its magic. They personally manned their stall, engaging with customers as if they were old friends, learning what customers wanted in their footwear. And let's not forget about supply chain issues. Finding high-quality materials at low prices was like searching for a needle in a haystack the size of Singapore. The brothers had to negotiate with suppliers more frequently than most people change their socks, sometimes settling for smaller orders just to get their foot in the door, pun intended. Neither Charles nor Keith had official fashion design or business management training. They learned on the job, picking up everything from design concepts to inventory management faster than you could say fashion faux pas. It was like running a marathon in high heels, difficult, a bit absurd, but ultimately spectacular. This is where Charles and Keith really took it to the next level. Instead of following the crowd, they zigged while others zagged. They identified an underserved demographic craving stylish, affordable footwear: young women aged 18 to 35. This audience was caught between expensive luxury shoes and cheap flip-flops. Charles and Keith saw this gap and decided to fill it with elegance. Their debut collection in 1996 was modest but impactful. We're talking comfy yet chic flats for everyday wear, trendy sandals perfect for Singapore's tropical climate because no one likes sweaty feet, right? Affordable heels for those treat-yourself moments, and versatile boots as rare in Singapore as a snowstorm. Each design was crafted to make the wearer feel like they were walking the red carpet, even though they were just headed to the local cafe. The brothers' business sense was as sharp as a pair of stilettos. They pioneered vertical integration, controlling everything from material sourcing to design and production. This strategy kept costs low and allowed them to pivot faster than a model on a runway when market trends changed. They embraced fast fashion before it was trendy, consistently releasing new designs to keep their products fresh. Their pricing strategy? Pure genius. They positioned their brand as affordable luxury, akin to flying first class at budget airline rates. They use psychological pricing techniques, often pricing items just below rounded numbers, for example $29.90 instead of $30, giving customers the impression of a bargain. It was like offering a designer glass slipper at a price Cinderella could afford before meeting her prince. By November 15, 1998, Charles and Keith were ready to expand beyond Singapore. They opened their first flagship store at Singapore's Amara shopping centre. This was more than just a new location, it was their ticket to global dominance. By March 2001, they had 20 stores in Singapore, each strategically placed in high-traffic areas. Talk about a growth spurt. By 2021, they had over 600 locations worldwide. That's more stores than the average person has shoes in their wardrobe. But wait, there's more. On April 7, 2004, Charles and Keith made a massive leap into the digital realm. While many competitors were still figuring out computers, these savvy brothers launched one of Singapore's first fashion e-commerce websites. It was as if they had a crystal ball, showing them the future of retail. Their first international store opened in Indonesia on July 1, 2002, and they quickly expanded across Asia, the Middle East, and Europe like a wildfire. This wasn't just a global expansion, it was a full-scale fashion invasion. Now, let's talk about Charles and Keith's marketing prowess. These guys were social media experts before it was cool. They turned Instagram and TikTok into virtual catwalks, making traditional fashion shows seem as outdated as last season's trends. The hashtag CharlesKeithGirl became more popular than a pair of red-soled Louboutins, with millions of posts showcasing their merchandise. But here's where it gets really interesting: their celebrity partnerships. Picture this: Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, seen carrying a Charles and Keith handbag on September 22, 2016. Suddenly, everyone and their granny wanted one. It was like a royal seal of approval for handbags. And it didn't stop there. In 2021, K-pop sensation Krystal Jung became a brand ambassador, turning into a walking billboard with millions of dedicated fans. Hollywood also fell under the Charles and Keith spell, with Kristen Stewart and Zendaya spotted wearing their designs, proving that even vampires and Spider-Woman have a great taste in shoes. Charles and Keith aren't just about looking good, they're also about doing good. In 2019, they jumped on the eco-friendly bandwagon, releasing sustainable collections that show you can save the planet while still looking fabulous. It's like saying, here's a shoe that looks amazing and helps the earth. They've also collaborated with designers like Goddard and Shushu Tong, creating buzzworthy collections. And just when you thought they couldn't get any cooler, they launched the I'm Not a Mannequin campaign in 2020, using AI to create virtual models. It's like they took the Matrix, made it stylish, and declared, we don't need humans to showcase our clothes. Hold on to your designer hats, because Charles and Keith aren't resting on their laurels. They ventured into the metaverse in 2022, offering digital wearables. That's right, your avatar can now be just as stylish as you. It's as if they're saying, why should real-world you have all the fun? As of 2024, these fashion trailblazers show no signs of slowing down. They aim to make their entire supply chain environmentally neutral by 2030, attempting to dress Mother Earth herself in eco-friendly stilettos. Charles and Keith aren't just about dominating the physical and virtual worlds, they're also eyeing expansion into new territories like Africa and South America. Who knows, they might even open a boutique on Mars. Given their track record of innovation and customer satisfaction, would you be surprised? In an ever-evolving fashion scene, Charles and Keith's journey is a lesson into turning dreams into reality. They've shown that with vision, hard work, and the ability to adapt faster than a chameleon at a disco, you can go from a small street stall to a global fashion empire. So, what's the takeaway from this rags to riches, flip-flops to high fashion story? Whether you're selling shoes on the street or creating the next big thing in your garage, remember that with enough perseverance, ingenuity, and a splash of style, you too could be the next big thing in fashion or any business. And there you have it, folks, the story of Charles and Keith, the brothers who proved that in the world of fashion, the sky is not the limit, it's just the beginning. Now, please excuse me, I need to go shoe shopping.